Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So basically we've got the new Hobbywing Bluetooth over-the-air programmer for the speed controllers, and this will work on a huge range of the Hobbywing speed controllers, so the XR range, most of the max range. So it'll come in really useful if you've got a whole bunch of different RCs like we have. We do have the Wi-Fi Express one, but what I've found is because it uses your Wi-Fi link from your phone, it's a bit awkward in the fact that you've got to remember to turn the app on, connect to your Wi-Fi, then you've got to remember to download your update to the app for all the new firmware and everything for the ESCs. But if you forget and your phone connects to the Wi-Fi Express module, it then tends to not use its mobile data. It tries to go through Wi-Fi, which has got no internet connection because it's a Wi-Fi dongle connected to an ESC, and then it'll tell you you've got no internet. So we decided to upgrade to the new Bluetooth one, and apparently this has got faster data transfer as well for updating firmware. But let's have a quick take it out of the box, have a look, see if there's anything different with it, and I'll run you through the setup guide and how to connect it to an ESC. So here we have a quick look at what comes in box. So you get your instructions. Main bit that's of importance out of that, it does tell you how to connect this to various different types of ESCs and UBCs, and you also get this Y cable where you'd plug that into the programming cable from the ESC or UBC, and then that goes into the one to supply power. But if you've got any of the other ones, we're just going to be using this to plug straight into the programming port. So let's get this plugged in and show you how we go on with it. Right, so I've unplugged this fan because they get annoying when I'm trying to make videos. That's his programming port that I have the external fan connected to. So if you notice, you've got negative, positive, and then your programming or signal. And if you look on the back of this, it's a bit hard to see, but should be able to find it. In fact, that is very hard to see. But it's basically negative to the right, positive in center, and the programming one is on the left. So we're going to have the gold contacts facing us, and then we just need to get that connected. And that's a lot easier said than done when you're trying to look through camera to do it. But basically that's the way round. You're going to want to connect it, and then we just need to connect a battery, and then we've got to connect to it. You have got a reset on the back, so if you do change the default password and forget it, you can press and hold that and reset it back to factory standard. So let's get a screen recording and show you what the options are and how we go about connecting up to the mobile. Alright, so first thing we're going to want to do is power up the RC. Then we're going to want to go to his Bluetooth. So we've got his device. We can see that it's detecting it, won't let us pair through that way, but what we should be able to do now is open the Hobbywing Link V2. So if we go into settings, and make sure it's set on Bluetooth. So if we back out and go to connection, should go searching through, and the Hobbywing BLE one is the one you want. So you put your 6/8 in and get it connected. So let's have a look what settings we've got. So we can go into settings of the Bluetooth module. You can change its name and its password, and we can check for firmware. So it looks like this has got firmware version 23 on it, and if we click on available, they're all the way up to 29 now. So Let's click update. It tells you not to power off. So we'll go through, get us update done. And it's always better off, any of this equipment or the app or anything, just make sure everything is on the latest version. It just saves you running into sort of ridiculous problems where it should work with some device but it won't for whatever reason, and it's usually just the firmware. But it is something that is markedly easier to do on this Bluetooth one than the Wi-Fi Express. It can be a bit convoluted with that, where you have to keep connecting to it, and then sort of you can change a setting on your phone so it prefers mobile data, so it doesn't try and go through Wi-Fi for the update. Right, so that says it's updated and it should restart itself. So we've now got us red light on. Let's search for available devices again. And it's saying connected, so let's go back into settings. So then we can click on database version and just make sure you're on latest database. So if we go back into Bluetooth settings and just make sure it is showing on latest firmware. Yep, so that's nice, that's all updated. So let's see what else we've got then. So if we go to firmware update, make sure the ESC is up to date. So we've got it detected correctly, it's an XR10 Pro G2. We've got current firmware is 4.4.09, so let's go to, so it looks like we missed a few on that, so we've got 4.4.12. So we click update on that one. It's telling you not to move away with your phone because you are writing the firmware to the actual device itself, and if you go out of range you are going to risk bricking your ESC because all of a sudden it's got no data on it anymore. Possibly worth keeping an eye on your phone. I'm not sure how this application works. I don't know if Keep Alive is set on it, and I know some mobiles, if you're not touching the screen, they will time out, and some of them will then cease the program that's running. So that's something to bear in mind. If you are going to be updating firmware or anything like that, you want to make sure you've got a full battery phone, nothing's going to interfere with it. And I would certainly, if you've got a flaky Bluetooth connection on your phone, which I know certain phones have issues connecting, I know some Apple devices can be a nightmare with Bluetooth. I've had Samsung devices where for whatever reason they'll keep disconnecting from a Bluetooth headset, but if you notice anything flaky like that with your phone, I would then use a different device if you're going to be updating firmware and stuff like that. You don't want it disconnecting and basically writing off your speed controller. Now it does look like it is using Keep Alive, certainly on my phone, because I'm not into touchscreen. Not really certain if the update process, I know Hobbywing's main reason for this is that it was much faster connection and more convenient, but I have updated firmware previously and I'm not seeing that this is markedly faster. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Comment in description below if you've got sort of experience of the Bluetooth one being way faster, but we kind of sat on top of it and it ain't looking that quick. Right, so we're up to 98% now, and I think that's took a good probably 6 to 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but let's see what it does when it completes. So update completed. ESC needs to be restarted. It will restart itself automatically, please wait. So we've gone from 4409 to 4412, so Let's just double check as firmware is showing up properly. So it is showing up, it is detecting it. Let's try parameters again. See if it just takes an incredibly long time to load up. And we are getting activity on the OTA programmer. And there we go. So, I mean, I've used the Wi-Fi Express and the Wi-Fi Express certainly worked quicker than that with the older firmware, but running through it, so we've got import and export, so we can actually back up as full settings. So we've got all those profiles. So on mine I run the 4-wheel drive mod, because we're running a 6.5 turn motor in this one, and it's 4-wheel drive. So let's have a look. So we need it forward with brake, maximum brake force 25 is standard. Let's have a look what we've got. So I run the high voltage LiPos, so yeah, the 3.5 volt per cell, that'd be fine for me. You can set it in 0.1 volt increments, so this is your LVC cutoff. So we're going to have that at 3.5. Thermal protection I like to keep on. BC, I want to set that up to be 7.4 volt. Remote off enabled, so we'll leave that on. We want it fully censored, clockwise. Neutral range 6%, coasting, don't need to change any of those values. And then you've got your boost timing, where it kicks in, your turbo timing, so you can have your turbo delay, how quick you want it to come on. But that looks pretty much good for stock settings. And then if we click save, we can save as profile. And you can rename your profiles, you can reset them to factory stock. I believe if you press that one, you can go through to your update of your ESC and everything while you're connected to it. And then if we back out of it, if you want to make sure those settings have saved, so we can turn as ESC off, we can then power it back up, and we can go to as connection, and you can go into it. And then we go back to parameters. Not sure why this takes an age to connect. It certainly seemed a lot faster on the Wi-Fi Express one, I must admit. To say this Bluetooth one is marketed as being much quicker, not really seeing that. I'll have to try it with a few different ESCs. I know there is quite a lot of settings on these XR10 Pros. Or maybe you need a newer version for it to utilise the extra speed from the Bluetooth, but either way it does work, you've just got to be a bit patient with it. So thanks for sticking around for this one. Certainly not the easiest to watch. But yeah, we can see as BC voltage is 7.4 volts, so that's all set correctly. So all you need to do then is power it off. You can disconnect it, They are a bit stiff, these plugs, but certainly for something that's programming the firmware, it's probably better. If you can't see the little markings on the plug, you can just hold the cable out straight and it's got the markings on the actual over-the-air Wi-Fi adapter itself. So that should now all be set up and programmed, and I'll just pop the fans back in and it'll get really loud and noisy. But there you go, all fully set up, fully functioning again. So the Wi-Fi adapter, or Bluetooth adapter should I say, we got this one again from Dave at RD Models over at Chesterfield. Link will be in the description below. I think you're looking around about 45-50 quid depending on what the prices currently are. Things tend to fluctuate nowadays, but really a handy piece of kit. Does make upsetting your ESCs and everything just so much easier, and the way you've got to your profiles where you can export and everything, you can have different ESC setups for different tracks, or if you swap the motors out on a car, if you run it in different classes, it's quite easy to have different profiles, so you just swap your motor and put your profile on your ESC. Nice and easy way to switch between sort of forward brake and reverse and things like that, and brilliant way to set up for your turbo timings, turbo delay, your degrees that you have your motor set at, and that can vary on different tracks, so it's handy to have profiles. The way you can rename them as well, you could even give them the track name. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Hopefully you find that I'm not even going to say interesting, because the amount of time that takes, it's a bit drawn out, but entertaining at least, or informative. But don't forget to share to friends and family, like and subscribe, and catch you guys again in the next one.